Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Because this is my 100th video, I thought I would do something a bit special and do like a general introduction to myself, which I haven't really gone into detail about before, although I have done the BookTube newbie tag, and at some point maybe I would still like to do the AuthorTube newbie 2.0 tag. So anyway, my first name, my legal first name is Anna, as I have mentioned in some earlier videos. My middle name is Ursula. I have always preferred my middle name to my first name because it's a lot more uncommon and distinctive. It was named after the characters Anna and Ursula in the D.H. Lawrence novel The Rainbow, which my mother was reading when she was pregnant with me. My paternal grandpap always believed I was named after his mother Anna, and no one ever corrected him and told him it was just a coincidence because it made him really happy to believe this. And who were we to hurt him and tell him, oh, by the way, it's not really what you think it is. I was born on the fifth night of Hanukkah in 1979 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The secular date is the 18th of December, and the Hebrew date is the 29th of Kislev. The fifth night is Hanukkah is said to be the holiest of the nights for reasons no one is really sure of, but some reasons speculated because it's the beginning of the majority of the lights, and the fifth night can never fall out on Shabbos. I was supposed to be born on the fourth night of Hanukkah, but I was born 2 weeks after my estimated due date, so what else is new? I'm a big-time procrastinator. I'm frequently not on time for things, and my mother was scheduled for a cesarean section on the 19th of December, but I decided to put her into natural labor a day early, which I guess is kind of a harbinger of how I got super interested in natural childbirth in my 20s. Unfortunately, I am not a mother yet myself, and neither do I have a husband, but I have not given up hope yet of either, because good things come to those who wait, and oftentimes you appreciate something or someone more because you just didn't have it handed to you on a silver platter. For example, someone who marries their first and only love as soon as they graduate high school or college, and they immediately start having children and never have struggles with infertility or anything like that. They might not appreciate that family as much as someone like myself who had to wait a really, really long time for it. And so, good things come to those who wait, and hopefully it will not be too late for me. I grew up in Albany, New York. I consider that my hometown, even though it's not where I was born. I've lived most of my life in Albany. It's, not the greatest city in the world. I would not recommend anyone live there or move there. There's some interesting things to see there if you visit, but it's just, not what it used to be decades ago. It's kind of run down and rotting and just not the way it was in the 19th century or the early 20th century. But there are some, interesting historical things and fun architecture and great museums and parks and stuff. I guess one of the most important things to recommend it's about a 3.5 hour radius from a lot of cool day trips. For example, New York City, Montreal, Vermont, New Hampshire, a few other places around New York. But it's just not a good place to live, but I love it because it's my hometown. I'm currently living in South Carolina. I don't really care at this point if people know exactly where I'm living. It's a long story why I didn't want to put my exact location in public for a long time, but since I hopefully won't be here for much longer anyway, I guess I don't really care who finds out where I'm living. And I did live for about, I think, 5.5, 6 years in Massachusetts. I lived with my family in Pittsfield in the Berkshires, and I went to university in Amherst. I attended UMass Amherst. I graduated in 2002. My degree is in history and Russian and East European studies. Since I was 16, my dream has been to get a PhD in Russian history with a focus on the Great Terror of the 1930s and Gulag. Yeah, I know I'm such a pleasant person, but I'm considering strongly maybe not getting a PhD in that after all, though it remains my greatest passion, because unfortunately a lot of universities these days are institutionally captured with a political ideology, and maybe you can just be an autodidact in something you're really passionate about without getting a really expensive piece of paper to prove it. But I am very hoping to go to the University of Haifa after I make Aliyah, move to Israel, and get a master's degree in Holocaust studies or Jewish studies, so I can translate that into working at a museum, an archive, or an academic library, combined with my passion for history and expertise in history. My specialties in history, besides obviously Russian history and the World War II Shoah era and the 1940s U.S. home front, prehistory. I've always been interested in that, evolutionary biology, paleoanthropology, paleogenetics, just really cool, fun stuff like that. I'm also interested in generally like 20th century like American, like North American history, the U.S. Civil War, the late and high Middle Ages, a little bit in the Renaissance and the Golden Age of Islam. I love Japanese history. Someday I would love to do some historical novels set in Heian Japan and Nara Japan, and maybe some other eras here and there, like maybe the samurai period or the Meiji era, or maybe even like the 20th century period. And I'm also got really interested in like Persian Iranian history. When I was writing my book, Journey Through a Dark Forest, just like, I guess, in general, Iranian Persian history, not like one era in particular. And now like some of my hobbies are like coins, coin collecting, numismatism. My favorite thing to collect has always been like pennies, 1-cent coins. My like Lincoln penny and like Wheatstock penny collection are almost complete. I'm only missing maybe like 4 or 5 pennies, but that's because they're, you know, super rare and difficult to find and like really expensive. Like, for example, the 1909 penny, I believe 1931 and 1922, and I think maybe 1 or 2 more here and there, but like other than that, that collection is complete. And so my collections of like quarters and nickels from like the modern like things they're stamped with are pretty much complete too. So basically I'll have to start moving on to like Indian head pennies. I do have some of those, like I guess more than the others, and just I need to, you know, start collecting like different like types of like stamps. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting, blanking on the technical terms for them, but you know, there are, you know, some wonderful like exciting new things I need to start like adding more of to my coin collection. I also love stamp collecting, which is called philatelism, and marble collecting. You know, marbles aren't just for kids. I absolutely love my marbles. I would, you know, love to do like some future videos like showing off all my collection to you guys. And my dream hobby, although I don't have enough, you know, money or land to do this right now, is antique cars, particularly from the brass age, like the 1910s, 20s, and 30s, and like also a little bit into the 1940s and very early 1950s. I just, you know, love all the diversity of cars and the colors, and they had a much different shape. You know, it was like rounder and longer and bigger. I'm not really into the classic cars of the 60s and 70s. I don't like those, you know, big old boxes, but like hopefully someday maybe I could have at least one antique car, you know, have fun like repairing these cars and taking them in like car shows and just, you know, owning them and having fun with them, because I just absolutely love cars, just particularly old cars. And also a student of world languages and world religions. I've been avidly studying both of these things since I was 14 years old. My parents deliberately did not raise me or my little brother with religion, so we could like make our own decision when we were 18. This inspired me to, you know, study all these great world religions. Like there was barely any religion I did not consider during this period. I've been living a Jewish life since I was 18. My family background in religious history are like way too complicated and personal to get into here, but like suffice it to say, I'm the first and only person in my immediate family to live any kind of Jewish life in over 150 years. Again, that's like a really, really like long, personal, complicated story, and like I don't really like to talk much about it for that reason, but you know, maybe someday I'll feel comfortable sharing that. And I, you know, as you might have noticed, I enjoy wearing jewelry on my videos. These are my 2 signature pieces. I do have a video talking about my non-body jewelry, like if you want to look that up, but like suffice it to say for now, like I love these because these are my favorite birthstones. This is turquoise on my right hand and lapis lazuli on my left hand, and this is also a pure turquoise ring. My ex got me this for, I think it was our first Hanukkah together. Yeah, I think it was a Hanukkah present. I guess he liked it because it was only $5 or $6. And this is the so-called engagement ring he made me buy myself. It's, you know, black diamonds, and obviously when you get to keep your engagement ring when the relationship goes sour. If you bought it for yourself, though, I guess that's one benefit of it. And this is one of my favorite necklaces. It's a Magen David a blue opal. I think I got this in the city of Tzfat. And these are some of the other pieces I frequently wear in my videos. This is purple star. I think I got this in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, if I'm remembering correctly. And this is like one of my other bracelets I like wearing. It's like a metallic purple thing. It was marked down like 3 or 4 times when Coldwater Creek was going out of business. This is a leather bracelet. It says, if I forget thee, Jerusalem, may my right hand wither, in Hebrew, even though I am predominantly left-handed. And this is my Hebrew name, Hannah Esther Daphna, on beads. I got this when I was like helping with chaperoning some kids at the Jewish History Museum, the Jewish Children's Museum in Brooklyn and Crown Heights. Again, this is I got like a number of little like rocks, like gemstones with like Magen David on them, and some of them are just plain, and you can just, because they didn't come with chains, I just hook them on and off of chains. I particularly like this one because it's dark medium blue, and this is another dark blue opal necklace I have. I'm sorry if I'm not showing it correctly. I'm shooting on QuickTime on my computer. This is an amethyst necklace. I also pure uncut amethyst. It was also from Coldwater Creek before they went out of business. It's one of those things, if you buy a certain amount of their merchandise, you get like a free present. And I really, really wanted this necklace. I was so happy and excited to get it. And I do have like some kind of special box it was originally stored in. I hope it's still around somewhere, so it just came in a special box. It wasn't just like handed to you. And this is one of my other favorite necklaces. It was made by Michael Negrin. She's a famous Israeli jeweler. She has so many beautiful pieces. This also has a matching like bracelet, earrings, and a ring, I believe, although I only got the necklace. I absolutely love purple, and this is like a ring I've shown before. This was supposed to be my ex's male engagement ring, which I bought for him in Jerusalem. It says, "I have found who my soul loves" in Hebrew. I should probably do a whole story time video about, our botched engagement. And I currently have 10 ear piercings. I have 4 in my right ear, the 3 lobe piercings and a purple conch, and I have 3 lobe piercings on my left ear, a conch, a tragus, and a rook piercing. I don't know if you can, it's like goes through the inferior anti-helix cruise, and this is it. This was originally the bar I was wearing in my navel, but unfortunately it rejected, so I asked them to, stretch it up to 14 gauge so I could still wear that jewelry in some way. And so now it's really cool. I have this like really cool, beautiful piercing. It was the most painful one I had to date, a 4 out of 10 on the pain scale. It was like a really long, slow healer, but I'm, really glad I have it, and I would love to have a rook piercing on my right ear as well. And this is what I originally had my rook pierced with. It's like a blue, dark blue, like gemstones on a curved barbell. This is a 16 gauge. Maybe I can use that as my starter jewelry in the other one. Oh, and I also love doing jigsaw puzzles. I had a previous video where I showed some photographs of the ones in my collection, and I have gotten some more since then, so maybe I can do a future video about that. And just like, I also love like silent film. I have seen over like, I think almost 1,300, if I'm remembering correctly, thereabouts, maybe over 1,300 by this point. I would also love to do a future video about that. I absolutely, love like silent films and also early sound films. My favorite actor is Rudolph Valentino. He's just like absolutely wonderful. I totally love him. He was so beautiful, both inside and out. My favorite male actor of the sound era is James Cagney. He's just like, from the first time I saw him, or at least, like saw a film of his all the way through, it was just like, wow, I knew he was going to be my favorite male actor of the sound era. He just, had so much like wonderful charisma. He was just, so perfect. And my second favorite male actor of the sound era is Edward G. Robinson, who is a nice Jewish boy. He's just, I love the gangster movies like so much. And I should probably do some videos at some point talking about my, love of classic film. And so I really love like 20th century like abstract art. My favorite artist is Paul Klee, who is one of my birthday buddies. He was born exactly a century before I was. And I also love artists like Egon Schiele and Gustav Klimt, like Vasily Kandinsky, like generally like abstract artists like that from, all the different various modern art schools. I will be doing hopefully a future video showing some of the stuff from my own sketchpad. You'll see on my main things I like to draw and like do pastel drawings of some geometric and abstract art. And I also like really colorful animals, like for example like parrots, like tropical fish, like tree frogs, things like that. Butterflies, and also like outer space and planets, things like that. But that's just something else I'm really interested in. I do plan to do a couple of AuthorTube videos here and there if I have the time, and I think people would be interested in them. And if you like look at my jewelry and the clothes in my closet and the colors that show up most often in my artwork, you'll see I absolutely love like my favorites. They're purple, like blue, particularly dark blue and medium blue, like teal, turquoise, distinctive shades of green like emerald and malachite green, just like really beautiful like dark distinctive shades, not really like light green. I don't like light pastel shades of pretty much anything. And also love black, orange, and surprising for me because I'm so proudly tomboyish, particularly in the last like 10 years or so, like bright and dark pinks, not like girly girl pinks, like light pastel stuff, but very like distinctive like bright and dark pink. And I also like read a lot, and it's just the color palette I have, bright, vivid, like, dramatic stuff, no subdued stuff for me. I absolutely love Halloween's my favorite holiday, and my favorite Jewish holiday is Yom Kippur, which I know seems like quite a juxtaposition. And my favorite comedians are Laurel and Hardy, and I also love the Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers, and also of course the big three of silent comedy, Charles Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, and Buster Keaton. And yes, I do frequently channel the spirit of Buster Keaton by having a deadpan expression and not smiling a lot and being very serious and intense. That's just naturally who I am, and I do have a very straightforward, like no nonsense, straight shooting way of talking, which I attribute to my working class roots. We don't like kitty foot around things or like walk on eggshells. We just tell it like it is, not hopefully not being like rude or too brutally honest, but just like if I think something is foolish or silly or ridiculous or goofy, I'm going to say so instead of like cleaning up my language and pretending, oh, just like let's mindlessly praise everything even if I think it's stupid. My favorite writers are Alexander Isayevich Solzhenitsyn, who is also one of my heroes and one of my literary idols. My second favorite writer is Hermann Hesse. I should definitely do some more videos about him. Also love Anton Pavlovich Chekhov and Ivan Sergeyevich Turgenev and Dante Alighieri. If you've watched many of my videos, you'll know I have a lot of Dantean content, and I still have some more Dantean videos planned in future. And I also love Bertolt Brecht and Mark Twain, Leon Uris, Isaac Asimov, and just a bunch of other people. I should do some more videos about my favorite writers and reviewing some of their books. Hopefully those will get more watches than my like usual videos on reviewing books like many people haven't heard of. And so obviously why would people want to click on videos about books that are out of print or by books they're not aware of? So generally they might be like slightly more mainstream if I talk about like books more people are actually aware of. I hope this video hasn't been too rambling and all over the point. I just wanted to give like a general introduction to myself and who I am. And I do also have like currently 12 books published. I'm an indie author and I have work published in 6 anthologies to date, and like just short stories and essays and personal like recollections and stuff. And I'm hoping to have like at least one book put out this year. That's I'm going to be talking about that more in an upcoming video about and plans for my like reading and writing and channel content in the coming month of May. So look forward to that soon. And my next video hopefully will be from one of my poetry recitation videos for National Poetry Month of April. I will be reciting the heartbreaking 1959 poem Nobel Prize by Boris Leonidovich Pasternak. It's one of those poems I kind of like practically knew by heart even before I consciously like deliberately memorized it, because it's like it just even before you know it, because you've like read it and like listened to it like so many times. I don't think I'll be reading it in Russian. I'll just be reciting it in English in the translation I'm emotionally attached to, but maybe in future I will be like doing both English and Russian or Russian only. And by the way, I love like world languages. As I've mentioned previously, my like favorite language will probably always be Russian. I do not like agree with what Tsar Vladimir is doing to the Ukrainians now, but my great love of like all other things Russian, have nothing to do with him. People are like separate from dictators who control them, and that will always be my favorite language. And I'm proud of how I taught myself the Russian Cyrillic alphabet in about a month when I was 13. I love, alphabets, world languages, just, so many great things about languages that appeal to me. And I never understood why so many of my peers didn't like learning languages or laughed at it and thought it was like boring and stupid. One of my great world, my goals is to be a hyper polyglot fluent in, 10 languages or more. And so hopefully hope this wasn't too like rambling and all over the place. As I've mentioned many times, I'm still not 100% comfortable on camera, but I do think I'm becoming much better than I used to be. And I'm well aware of the fact that, this doesn't really look like a professional setup, but since I'm currently not in my own home, I don't really have much like leeway in where and when I can film. Like hopefully when I'm back in my own home within the year, maybe God willing, and you'll like see a much like more interesting and like professional looking backdrop, and maybe even like I can do some videos outside. And as I did mention in my previous video, my hair is technically classified as like very dark blonde or golden brown. It only looks like I'm a brunette in this like fairly dark lighting, but if you see like the sunlight striking my hair, you will see there are definitely some golden highlights in it. So thank you very much for watching. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, particularly commenting. I really want to get to know who my subscribers are and build on virtual friendships with you guys. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.